So this week on Sunday, we jumped into our new series, Dream Builders, and really it's come about as a conviction that we should be relaunching and refreshing our Dream Builders. And so really we're looking to bring you on a journey of what Dream Builders is all about. You see, often when we think of dreams and visions, we think about just our aspirations and our hopes for the future. But in the kingdom, really, God wants us to become more intentional than that. A dream and a vision isn't something that we're just passionate about in our heart or something we think about with our mind, but it's something that actually we commit our hands to. It's not just something we grapple with spiritually, it's something we grapple with practically. And really, I think that God is wanting in this new season of life to almost build and, if you like, establish a core of dream builders at church. Now, we kind of did this pre-COVID, and then COVID kind of snuffed it out. But at the turn of the year, when I was really seeking the Lord impressed it upon my heart that it's time to try to bring this back into being and resurrect it, because I think it's going to be really essential to our future. Because being a dream builder isn't just about going to church. It's really the essence of being church. It's not just about going to a service on a Sunday. It's actually bigger than that. It's about understanding that God has given us a vision for the future. He's given us a vision for the lost. And now we're going to apply our hands to the plow, and we're going to begin to push together in the same direction, pursuing God's preferred future for our lives. You know, on Sunday, we referenced Joshua 6, verses 1 to 3, and it's a significant moment in Israel's history because, if you like, it's the last bit of resistance before the promised land. And Joshua sees Jericho emerge in the desert, and it's this fortified city. And he makes a reality, an observation of reality in verse 1, chapter 6, where it's like that the whole place was in lockdown, this fortified city. No one was going in, no one was coming out. But then in verse 2, God says to Joshua, "See, I'm giving the city into your hands with all of its king and its fighting men, with all of its kings and its fighting men." And there's this, if you like, this paradox moment where in verse 1, there's the reality, but yet in verse 2, like, God invites Joshua to see what he sees, to see the supernatural vision of this fortified city overcome by the Israelites. And then in verse 3, we go on to see that God also gives Joshua the strategy in order to make verse 2 the reality. I don't know if that makes sense. But ultimately, God uses vision and dreams to bring people into his future for them. It's the way that he's led his people. When you think about Abraham, when you think about Moses, when you think about Samuel, even into the New Covenant, New Testament, where we look at the likes of Paul and Peter, vision becomes so crucial to living in the fullness of what God has for us. Even Jesus himself says, "I only do what I see the Father doing." There's a sense that we have to see beyond the very kind of real, tangible thing in front of us. On Sunday, I spoke about our occipital lobe, the fact that the part of our brain that really processes the information that we see, and we have to engage our imagination. Paul says in Ephesians 3:20, "Now to him who's able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine." Like, there's this invitation to begin to dream, to begin to envision, and to begin to imagine. And I think God has a dream for us individually. I think he's got a dream for us as families. I think he's got a dream for us as marriages, and I think he's got a dream and a preferred future for us as a church. And really the challenge in this season, I think, is not just to understand that and not even just to see it, but begin to strategize and practically move towards it. On Sunday, we looked at the 4 profiles of people, as we see it. We see that, first of all, there's the non-dreamers, and the description for that profile is people who go through life only living according to reality, within the confines of those parameters. They're not evil, they're not bad. It's just that they live according to the limitation of their eyes. And I think most people in modern day society are just non-dreamers. We've been taught out of dreaming. You know, when you're a child, you dream big dreams. But as you get older, that gets kind of beaten out of you, and you just become, grounded in reality. And we become non-dreamers. The second profile of people that we could become with regards to dreams is that we can become dreamers. And the description of that is people who have the ability to see what isn't there yet and imagine an exciting future that is yet to come to pass. And I think there's quite a few dreamers. I think I can fall into this category where like I can have these bold aspirations and desires and dreams and visions. But even that isn't where we want to be. We don't just want to be a dreamer. Then there's this profile that's a little bit more negative, which is dream killer. I mean, when killer's in the title, you don't have anything to do with it, do you? And the description of that profile is this: people who out of insecurity take it upon themselves to ensure people stay connected to reality by belittling dreams using any tool available, typically sarcasm, cynicism, skepticism, pessimism. I'm sure we all know some dream killers where we begin to exercise the muscle of faith and someone is quick to put that back into reality and try to kind of just take the edge off it. And that can be so demoralizing and discouraging, and we don't want to be a dream killer, do we? Ultimately, those are three attributes, profiles that are possible for us. But it's actually the fourth one that through this series we want to try and encourage people to kind of occupy, and it's this profile: dream builders. And here's a description: people who have learned how to harness the power of dreams by not just envisioning a different reality, but using it as a motivation to start building it before they have all the answers. That's what dream builders do. They are people who move beyond vision. People who understand that this isn't something that I just get excited about in my heart or understand with my mind, but it's something practically I give my life to in the way that I give, in the way that I serve, in the way that I pray. And over the coming weeks, we're going to be looking at how do we activate people into vision and dreams. And so today, really, we're starting at the very first kind of step, which is: what are dreams and visions? Why are they important? How do you get them? And really the part that we play in being dream builders for the kingdom. So I hope you have a great conversation tonight. Be honest, be confident, and also be humble. Hear what other people have to say, because it's actually that sense of community that really sharpens our edge. It's that sense of collaboration and conversation that really, I think, begins to pave a way for the mind of Christ. The scriptures say, together we have that mind. So you don't have it in isolation. We need one another to get a bigger vision of who God is and a bigger vision of his future for us. So I hope you have a blessed time together tonight, and I hope you enjoy the questions. Look forward to seeing you soon.